An indomitable spirit, the story of Alex Harper. Alex Harper lived in a small town lost among the fields of Kansas. He always thought that life was limited to what you had here and now. His father worked as a mechanic, his mother taught at the local school, and Alex himself dreamed of the big city, opportunities, and freedom. At the age of 18, he moved to Chicago, believing that something more awaited him. His dream was to become an architect, to create buildings that would delight people and leave their mark on the future. His first year in the city was full of challenges. He entered the university but worked in the evenings in a cafe to pay for his studies. Alex was not afraid of difficulties until one day everything went wrong. His father had a heart attack. Alex returned home to help his family. He postponed his studies and started working in his father's car repair shop. His dreams of architecture became a distant memory. When he returned to his hometown, he felt broken. Every day reminded him of how far he was from his dreams. Was it worth dreaming at all? Alex thought as he sat in a small room at the old drafting table that had once been his pride. The days at the car repair shop were hard, but Alex tried to hold on. His father was gradually recovering, but the work at the workshop was physically and mentally draining. One evening, while cleaning up the workshop, Alex found an old box of his father's blueprints. Once upon a time, his father also dreamed of becoming an engineer, but life forced him to quit his studies. The box contained sketches of bridges, cars, and even houses. These drawings reminded Alex of his own dreams. His father noticed him looking at the old sketches and said, "You know, dreams don't have to die. They can wait for their time." Those words stuck with him. That night Alex took out his old sketchbook and started drawing. Alex decided not to give up on his dreams. He started combining his work in the workshop with studying architecture programs online. Every evening after work, he sat at his computer, studying 3D modeling and modern architectural trends. After a few months, he collected enough sketches to decide to do something more. His first step was to create a small project, a modern design for a local cafe. The cafe owner was an old friend of his and agreed to try the new design for free. Alex worked nights, but the result exceeded all expectations. The cafe got a new look and more customers. This small success was the first step for him to regain his faith in himself. His success with the cafe inspired Alex, but it also caused skepticism in his environment. Friends and acquaintances said, "Why would you do that? You're a mechanic. Architecture is for big cities, not for our small town." These words upset him, but did not stop him. Alex decided that his next step was to create a bigger project. He gathered all his drawings, old and new, and decided to send them to several design studios in big cities. However, the first responses were disappointing. All the studios refused, arguing that he lacked experience and education. Alex began to have doubts. Maybe they're right? Maybe I really can't do it? One day, a stranger drove an old car to the car repair shop. The car was in bad shape, and Alex worked on it for several hours. While he was repairing it, the customer, a man in an expensive suit, noticed the blueprints lying on the workbench. Alex nodded and explained that it was his hobby. The stranger turned out to be the owner of a small design firm from a neighboring town. He looked at the drawings carefully and said, "This is a real talent. You should show it to the world." The man left his business card and said he would be willing to help if Alex decided to. This meeting was a turning point. Alex decided to take a chance. He called the man and arranged a meeting at his office. A few days later, Alex stood in front of the studio door, feeling both fearful and hopeful. When he walked in, the man introduced him to his team and offered him a chance to try his hand at a real project, designing a new youth center for a neighboring town. The youth center project became the biggest challenge of Alex's life. Despite the support of his new friend and his team, Alex was new to the field, and this did not go unnoticed. Team members were skeptical. This is a big project. Can a guy with no experience create something really worthwhile? Alex felt this pressure, but he wasn't going to back down. He worked day and night, learned new techniques, consulted with the team, and even experimented with the design. A few weeks before the project was to be completed, it became clear that the estimate was over budget, and the client began to express his dissatisfaction. The team began to panic, but Alex came up with a solution: change some of the details of the project using available materials but keep the basic concept. His idea was risky, but when he presented the updated plan to the client, he said, "It's even better than I expected. Well done, kid." These words were confirmation for Alex that he was moving in the right direction. When the center was completed, it became a real pride for the city. People came to see the modern building that combined stylish design and functionality. At the opening, the mayor said, "This center is an example of how new ideas and perseverance can change communities." Alex received not only approval, but also his first serious offers from other clients. This project opened the door to a wider audience for Alex. He was invited to participate in a regional architecture exhibition, where he presented his work and even won the Young Talent of the Year award. Alex realized, dreams are just the beginning. The main thing is not to be afraid to act. After the success of the youth center, Alex Harper's name began to appear in local news and magazines. People were curious about his story, how a young man from a small town managed to create something so impressive. One day Alex received a call from a large architectural firm in Chicago. Their representative offered him a job on a team that designed sustainable buildings. "We've seen your work and are impressed with your approach to architecture. You create not just buildings, but places that have a soul," the representative said. This was exactly what Alex had dreamed of when he first moved to Chicago. Working in Chicago was exciting, but also exhausting. Alex had to learn to work in a team with other talented architects. In the first months, he often doubted whether he was worthy of being among them. Once his mentor, a famous architect, said, "You have something that many people don't have: you're not afraid to take risks and think differently. This will make you successful." These words helped Alex to believe in himself. The firm was awarded a contract to create an innovative educational complex for a university in California. Alex became one of the lead designers of the project. His task was to create a space that would inspire students and be environmentally friendly at the same time. Alex put all his energy into this project. He used the knowledge he had gained on his own and even added design elements that he had developed in his youth. When the project was completed, it became a sensation in the architectural world. The building was called "a symbol of the future of architecture," and Alex received his first international award. His story inspired many. Young architects wrote him letters, thanking him for his example and asking for advice. Alex realized, "My story is not just about me, it's about anyone who dares to follow their dreams despite the difficulties." His success in California opened new doors for Alex. He was invited to become a partner in the firm, but this meant that he had to take on more responsibility. He was tasked with leading a team that worked on a series of community centers in different cities. This was a completely new challenge for Alex. He already knew how to create a design, but now he had to coordinate dozens of people, handle financial issues, and be responsible for every detail of the project. The team consisted of different people, and not all of them were confident in the young leader. One of the experienced architects said bluntly, "You don't have enough experience to manage such a large-scale project." Alex felt the pressure, but decided to do things his way. He focused on creating an atmosphere of trust, listened carefully, and took into account the ideas of all team members. After a few months of working together, the team became a single unit. Together, they completed the first community center, which received rave reviews from both the community and professional critics. After opening the center, the mayor said, This building has become a symbol of our unity. Thank you for giving our community a place like this. For Alex, this was the highest recognition. He realized that his work is not only about architecture, but also about the people it inspires. After a number of successful projects, Alex Harper was invited to participate in a tender for the construction of a business complex in the heart of Chicago. This was a huge chance for the company, not only from a financial point of view, but also as an opportunity to consolidate its reputation among the largest players in the field of architecture. However, there was a condition in the project that immediately raised doubts in Alex's mind. The complex required the demolition of several historic buildings that were symbols of the city's heritage. For the corporation, these were just old buildings, but for Alex, they represented the history and soul of the city. Alex's team was divided in their opinions. Some believed that such a project was a chance that could not be missed, while others agreed with Alex that it was dangerous to go against their principles. Alex spent several sleepless nights thinking about it. One evening he shared his thoughts with Sarah, a young architect he was supporting. She said, "We all learned from you to stand your ground. If you compromise with yourself now, will you be able to look back on this as your success?" These words became decisive for him. Alex decided not only to abandon the original project, but also to offer the corporation an alternative, to create a modern business complex while preserving the historic facades of the buildings. This solution was more complicated and expensive, but Alex believed it would be in keeping with the spirit of the city. The corporation initially refused, but thanks to Alex's persistence and the support of the local community, the project was approved. 2 years later, the building was completed. It became a combination of modern design and historical aesthetics. People called it the new face of Chicago, and for Alex, it was proof that success has no price when it comes to values. Inspired by his fight for principles, Alex decided it was time to help other young architects find their way. He created an educational platform that combined online courses, workshops, and internship opportunities at his company. One day, a young architect named Sarah, who grew up in a small town similar to Alex's hometown, joined the program. She had great talent but no means to study. Alex became her mentor and helped her develop her ideas. Sarah proposed the House of the Future project, an environmentally friendly building that could function completely autonomously. Alex supported her, found sponsors, and even engaged the best engineers to work on it. 2 years later, the building was completed. It became not only an architectural sensation, but also an example of how innovation can change the world. Sarah received an international award, and Alex felt proud that his influence was spreading further through those he supported. Not everything in Alex's life has been smooth sailing. One day, while working on a large residential complex, an incident occurred. One of the structures collapsed due to a defect in the materials. Fortunately, no one was injured, but it caused a wave of criticism. The media quickly picked up the news, calling it Phoenix Design's biggest failure. Several clients canceled their contracts, and some partners began to doubt the company. Alex called his team together and said, "I take full responsibility for what happened. But this is not the end. We have to not only correct the mistake, but also prove that we can learn from our failures." Alex personally led the project's recovery, working side by side with every team member. They implemented new quality control standards, brought in independent experts to check materials, and organized an open meeting with local residents to explain the situation. A year after the incident, the residential complex was completed, and it has become an example for other companies on how to correct their mistakes. At the press conference, Alex said, "Every mistake is a chance to become better. And if you recognize it and work to fix it, people will appreciate it." Many years later, Alex returned to his hometown, but this time as a man who had changed his life and helped many others. He decided to build a training center where young people could get the knowledge and support they needed to realize their dreams. At the opening, he said, This center is a symbol that anyone can rise above their circumstances. Here, everyone will have a chance to find themselves, no matter where they started. The center has become a place where people from all over the region come together to learn, work, and be inspired. For Alex, this was his greatest achievement. Success is not about money or recognition. It's about what you leave behind. Every dream, even the smallest one, is worth fighting for. This story proves that perseverance and belief in your dreams can change your life. Share this story with your friends to inspire them and subscribe to Rise and Inspire for even more motivation. Together we can overcome any obstacle.